What's up, interwebs? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim.
I'm Adam.
This is Season 1, where we're going through my first book I ever wrote, Angelic Wars. Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars, Book 1. And we're going through it like this. It's Season 1, so we'll have other seasons will be different books. Maybe not completed books. We'll see. Who knows?
We'll see.
And we are going to be going through Chapter 9 today.
Yes.
And if you don't know, familiar with this format, and we'll read a chapter, then we discuss a chapter, and we'll also see how the chapter plays in as its own, but also stuff that came before it.
Exactly.
So you haven't listened to the other chapters, you're probably going to want to listen to that so you understand any references before that.
Get over there.
Because you're coming in the almost middle of the book.
Yeah.
But
it's 9 chapters in. Come on,
but
go back.
You're not in the middle of the book yet.
Hey, if this is the first one, go back to episode 1 and start.
Yes. So, but before we get to the reading, if you go on to enjoy this episode, we would love it if you'd hit that subscribe. Nope. Smash that like button and do it. Do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel. I got some cool stuff coming out soon. And with that being said, hold on. Forgot something. If you want to listen to watch some terrible gameplay, go check out Adam's channel, ZOP Gaming.
Yes.
They are terrible.
We're not good.
No. They are pros with air quotes around pros.
Exactly. It's not even air quotes. They're real quotes.
Yeah, they're
around.
real quotes.
Yeah.
So, but now that we're done with that, let's get to
Chapter 9. Failure Accomplish. A loud knock came at the apartment door, which made Natalie's head shoot up from the pillow on the couch. She quickly realized she had fallen asleep while doing her homework. Glancing at the cable box, she saw it was 10:30. Wondering who come knocking at this hour, she quickly stood up as she moved the tray in front of her. Before she could get to the door, Kiana came running down the hall into the living room. She grabbed the doorknob and whipped the door open. Raven stood facing them in the hallway. She must have just gotten off from work, since she was still wearing her cafe work clothes. The black polo shirt with the cafe logo and a white cargo skirt that stopped just above the knees. Her hair was pulled back into a ponytail. "Hello, you," she said as Natalie joined her sister at the door. "You two must be Natalie and Kiana." "Yeah," Kiana said. "Who are you? And how do you know who we are?" "Sage called me earlier today, asking me if I would check in on you," Raven answered. "I would have done so sooner, but I just got off from work." "How do we know you actually know Sage?" Natalie chimed in. "Let's see," Raven began. She told them the whole working of how Sage was a part of their family. "Come on in," Natalie said. "Sorry for doubting, but we already had someone in the apartment when we weren't here." "I understand," Raven said, walking into the apartment and closing the door. "You could say Sage and I are just starting to form a friendship. That's why you don't know who I am." "So, are you staying with us?" Natalie asked. "Or just stopping by to say hi and see how we're doing?" "Sage didn't mention staying here," Raven replied. "Just wanted to see how things were, as well to see if you needed anything." "Okay," Kiana said. "I'm watching a movie in my room since my homework is all done, unlike someone who has been sleeping for the past 2 hours. "Asleep?" Raven asked. "I have a lot of work to do tonight," Natalie replied. "I fell asleep after I finished my math homework. I still have so much work to do. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get it all done." "I know what you mean," Raven said. "I have a lot of work to do as well. I just got off from work, and I'm going to be up until 2 doing it all." "Oh," Natalie said. "I have a question. Since you're going to be up so late, and we both have a lot of work to do..." "Why not?" Raven interrupted. "You can help me stay awake. However, I need to go back to my apartment and change. I'll be back in about 30 minutes, and we can have a study group." "Great," Natalie said. "Yep," Raven replied as she opened the door and walked out into the hallway. "I'll leave the door unlocked so you can come right in," Natalie said. "Not a good idea," Raven said. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Before I leave my apartment, I'll call and let you know I'm on my way. That way you can unlock the door. This way it isn't unlocked for that long. Good idea, Natalie said. Good. See you in a few. Natalie shut the door as Raven started down the hallway. She quickly locked it and sat back down on the couch and turned on the TV. Kiana walked over and stood in her view so Natalie couldn't see. What do you think you're doing? Asked Kiana. Inviting her to stay and do homework when we hardly know her, and yet you're going to let her come back? Yeah, Natalie said. How many people do you think know about Sage in that much detail? Also, I think I remember him telling me about her the other day. Not really telling me, but, just mentioned her. Well, if you're going to stay up that late, I am too, Kiana said. Oh, no, Natalie said. You have 25 more minutes before you're going to be in bed. That's not fair, Kiana said. Just because you're older and Sage left you in charge, you think you can stay up late as you want? Hey, Natalie replied. I'm only staying up late because I have so much work to do before school tomorrow. I'll tell you what, if you have something school related that you can work on, I'll let you stay up until it's done. Okay, Kiana said. I'll start my state report. Have you even chosen your state yet? Natalie asked. Yep, Kiana replied. We did that just today. I'll make my flag. Fine, Natalie said. However, if I come down to see you playing or watching a movie, you're going to bed. That means no movie or music playing while you're working. Fine, Kiana said as she stomped down the hall into the guest room. Once inside, she slammed the door as hard as she could. I know you're going to watch another movie, Natalie said to herself. I will catch you and make you go to bed. Natalie went back to watching TV. After 20 minutes, the phone rang and it was Raven, letting her know she was on her way. Before returning back to the couch, she quickly unlocked the door. 5 minutes later, the door flew open, and in walked Raven with her bag hanging from one shoulder and 5 books in her arms. Natalie jumped up and ran over to help her out. She took 3 of the books from her and grabbed her bag. Once she was holding everything, she walked into the kitchen and as Raven followed. They placed the books on the table and bag under it. Have enough work to do? Natalie asked. Not really, Raven replied. I just have a 20-page paper due tomorrow, and I have about 7 pages done. These books are just a few of my sources. That reminds me, do you have internet down here? Yeah, Natalie said. Sage got a wireless setup down here once he found out that is what the school had. Great, Raven replied. I can access my other resources. Let me just grab my stuff and we can get to work, Natalie said. Sure, Raven said. I have to go back to my car and grab the coffee and donuts I picked up for us. Cool, Natalie said. That should keep us going. I hope so, Raven said. Both girls walked out of the kitchen into the living room. Raven walked back out the door into the hall while Natalie picked up her books and moved them into the kitchen. A few minutes later, Raven returned with a box of donuts and 2 large styrofoam cups of coffee. She placed the food on the counter and the cups on the table. They quickly organized their sitting areas. Once that was done, they began to work. Over the next hour, that is all they did. Every now and then, one of them would get up and grab another donut before returning to her seat. At 12:10, Natalie realized she forgot to check on Kiana to make sure she was doing her schoolwork. She stood up and stretched, then grabbed her cup of coffee, took a quick sip, and then set it back down on the table. I'll be right back, Natalie said. I need to go check in on Kiana, make sure she's asleep. Okay, Raven said. Natalie walked into the living room and down the hall to the guest room. She quickly opened the door and walked inside. Raven continued working when she heard a loud scream coming from the guest room. She jumped up and quickly walked down the hall into the guest room. Natalie, Raven said as she knocked on the door. Is everything okay? Say one word and I swear I'll kill you, said a muffled voice from the inside talking to someone else in the room. Raven grabbed the doorknob and tried to open the door, but it would not move. She stepped back and rammed it as she turned the knob. The door flew open and the light from the hall poured into the dark room. As Raven stepped inside, she saw Natalie lying on the ground unconscious. As she stood up, she saw a figure of someone holding on to Kiana. "Where's Sage?" the figure asked. "He's not here," Raven replied. "Who are you?" "Someone who is seeking revenge after what he did to me," the voice replied. "Brad?" Raven asked. "Brad Kingsley? Is that you?" "Good guess," Brad said, stepping into the light. He had one hand around Kiana's neck with a knife in his other hand, which was placed right next to her neck. "Do you have any idea what it's like to have to depend on a machine to breathe? That punk has almost completely collapsed my windpipe." "Then how are you breathing without the machine now?" Raven asked. "A guy came to the hospital and told me he could heal me if I promised to do something for him," Brad said. "He also said that in the process, I might just be able to get revenge on the person who had hurt me. So of course, I agreed, and I brought some friends." Before Raven could say anything else, someone from behind wrapped his arm around her neck and began to squeeze. Without missing a beat, she stomped on the guy's foot, then quickly elbowed the guy in the gut. She grabbed the arm that was around her neck and threw him over her shoulder onto the floor. With a loud thud, he hit the ground. While still holding his arm, she put her other hand behind his elbow and applied pressure. As soon as Raven looked up at Kiana, a loud bang went off, and she fell to the ground. Brad had dropped the knife and pulled a gun from his pocket while she fought free from her attacker. Blood gushed from the wound as she fell backwards and hit her head on the floor. "Tony," Brad said, looking at the guy on the floor, "hurry up and get up and grab the girl." "Which one?" Tony said. "The one who's bleeding," Brad said. "This brat's sister. You're the strongest of all of us." "I thought we were only supposed to bring the younger one," a voice asked from the corner. "I know, Ryan," Brad said. "His sister can be our reward for doing a job well done." "I like that idea," another voice walking into the room, into the light, said. "Good, Kyle," Brad replied. "Now let's get going before the cops get here. Someone's bound to have heard the gunfire." From the back of the room, a loud tapping was heard. Brad turned around and looked out the window. There was another guy standing looking at him. "Kyle, get the window open," Brad said. Kyle walked over to the window and quickly opened it as far as it could go. "The cops are on their way," the guy said. "I heard it on the police scanner. The closest unit is only a few minutes away." "You guys heard, Keith," Brad said. "Let's get moving." Brad handed Kiana to Keith until he climbed out the window. Ryan was next, then Tony. Once he was on the ground, Kyle pulled Natalie over to the window, lifted her up while Tony grabbed her. Once she was through, Kyle jumped out. Tony quickly lifted Natalie to his shoulder and followed after the others. They headed up the hill that was in back of the apartment building as fast as they could. The hill was very steep, and it was about a quarter-mile walk to the top. Brad was the furthest up, while Ryan, Kyle, and Keith were only a few feet behind. There was a gap between those guys and Tony. He was a big man, which made it tough for him. The extra weight of Natalie made it even harder for him. With the light of the moon overhead, Kiana could finally see all 5 of them very clearly. They all had on black clothes and ski masks, so no one could see who they were. "You just made us a lot of money," Brad said, looking at Kiana. "Dr. Toller has requested that you join him tonight." "Why does he want to meet me?" Kiana asked as she tried to get away from the powerful grip around her wrist. "I don't know, kid," Brad said. "I was just told to bring you in, and I would get healed as well as a chance to get my revenge. Since I didn't get that, I'm sure the 200,000 will make up for it. You must have done something bad for him to be willing to pay that kind of cash." "Yeah, we've done a lot of deeds for Dr. Toller," Kyle said. "None of them ever paid even close to how much we're getting tonight." Kiana was not sure why Dr. Toller wanted her to come to his house tonight. However, she wasn't sure who they were talking about. Then she remembered the man who was in Sage's apartment when they arrived. While Kiana tried to figure out what was going on, the 5 of them had reached the top of the hill. As they kept moving, a figure came into view. The person was tall and had a long black trench coat on. As they drew closer, they could see whoever it was had his back to them, so they decided they would try to get around the person without him seeing them. "Let them go," the guy said. "What did you say?" asked Brad. "I said, let them go," the guy said as he turned and faced them. The person was Cyrus. "I don't know who you are," Brad said, "but these girls are coming with us." "If you don't let them go," Cyrus said, "I will hurt you." "I'm not afraid of you," Brad said as he pulled a gun from his pocket with his free hand. He pointed the weapon at Cyrus's head, but before he could pull the trigger, Kiana grabbed his other arm and bit him, causing the gun to fire up in the air. Cyrus rushed him and kicked the gun out of his hand into the air. Brad let go of Kiana after she bit him. Cyrus pushed past him and grabbed her by the hand. As he ran down the hill, he aimed right for Tony, who still had Natalie over his shoulder. He turned his right shoulder towards him, leaned forward, and rammed it into his chest. With the force of running down the hill and the power behind the hit, Tony flew through the air and hit the ground and rolled down the hill. Natalie flew up into the air when Cyrus hit him. Cyrus let go of Kiana and caught Natalie as she came down. He put her over his shoulder, then grabbed Kiana's hand and continued down the hill. About a third of the way until he got to the bottom, Natalie slowly woke up. Not wanting to stop, Cyrus kept her on his shoulder. Once at the bottom of the hill, they ran over to a Ford Stratus. Once there, he set Natalie down and let go of Kiana's hand. "Get in," Cyrus said. "Why should we go with you?" Natalie asked, who was still a little out of it. "If you want to live, you'll get in the car," Cyrus said. At that moment, Ryan, Keith, and Kyle came running back and tackled Cyrus. But it was like he knew what they were going to do. Cyrus grabbed and threw Keith up into the air as high as he could, as the other two took him to the ground. Keith flipped and landed on his back on the concrete. Kyle and Ryan tried to hold Cyrus down, but he grabbed a hold of their shirts and launched them into the air. They flew through the air and smashed into the dumpster that was at the base of the hill. They bounced off and fell to the ground. After seeing what Cyrus could do, both Natalie and Kiana climbed into the car. They figured they had better go with somebody who was protecting them than with those who were willing to hurt them. Cyrus went around to the driver's side and got in and shut the door behind him. He pulled down his visor and the keys fell into his hand. Then he started the car up. He quickly put the car into reverse and floored it out of his parking space. Once he had backed out, he threw it into drive and sped towards the driveway to the road. As he approached the road, Brad came running after the car. He jumped and grabbed hold of the bumper and was dragged along the road by the car. He let go of the bumper with one of his hands and grabbed a huge hunting knife. He stabbed it into the trunk. Then he let go of the bumper altogether. "Whatever your name is," Kiana yelled, "his knife is jammed into the trunk and he's lifting himself up." "Hold on," Cyrus said. "I'll try to lose him." "Oh, the name is Cyrus." As Cyrus drove down the road, Brad had reached back with his other hand and pulled out his other knife. He jammed it into the trunk as well, but closer to the rear window. He slowly lifted himself up enough where he could let go of the first knife and use his free hand to punch through the glass and grabbed Kiana's hair as Cyrus made a sharp turn around the corner. "This brat is coming with me," Brad said as he pulled his head and chest into the car as he let go of the other knife. "Ah!" Kiana screamed as her hair was being pulled as Brad pulled himself into the car. Natalie turned around and began to kick at his head so he would let go of Kiana's hair. After a few kicks, he let go and used his hands to catch the next kick and pushed her foot down into the back seat. He reached forward, grabbed Natalie's hair, but she ducked him, causing him to miss. Instead, he grabbed the back of the seat. Cyrus! He doesn't have a hold of Kiana! Natalie screamed. Cyrus slammed on the brakes of the car. Brad flew forward with his head smashing into the windshield, then stepped on the gas and spun away. As Brad's body flew out the back window, hit the ground, and rolled across the road. Is he dead? Natalie asked. I'm not sure, Cyrus said. He took a very hard blow to his head, and his neck looked like it was broken from the brief second I glanced at him. So, where are we going? Natalie asked. Somewhere safe. Do you mind telling us? Natalie asked. In due time, Cyrus said. We need to get you out of here before they come back. But you said the guy's neck was broken, Natalie said. That won't stop him, Cyrus replied. Trust me.
Adam, I just got to tell you one thing.
Yes.
Brad is no Chuck Smith. Chad Smith.
Yeah, he is definitely not a Chad Smith.
Definitely not.
He's a Brad.
He's a Brad.
And he hangs out with a Kyle.
He's definitely a Chad, though. He's just not a Chad Smith.
He's a Kyle. He's the kind of guy that would ask you, do you know who my dad is? And mean it.
Yes. Oh, so you mean Josh?
Yeah.
Trust me, that will come into play. Oops. Spoiler alert. But
Josh is just a younger Brad.
But not really. Yeah, that's how I described him when you tried to find his voice. I really said, just think of Brad,
just
but
younger.
Actually in high school. So, but yes. All right, so let's go big picture, Adam.
Boom.
For this episode, for this chapter so far. What do you thought of this chapter?
It has its place.
Yeah.
Yes, it certainly does. It absolutely makes no sense when you look at the details, but it has its place.
What do you mean it makes no sense? It makes perfect... No, not really.
No.
Yes, but no.
Okay, the interaction... Okay, when we start this chapter with Raven showing up, Natalie asking her, who are you, blah, 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 totally makes sense. Raven not reacting at all to somebody being in the apartment when the girls got home doesn't make sense.
I kind of think to me, it really kind of played out with the idea, okay, Raven is coming off her shift.
She's not really here.
She's not, she's tired.
She's thinking about all the homework she still needs to do.
And she's like, I promised Sage I'd come and check on her, on the girls.
I've done my job. Let me go home.
Not really listening to what they kind of said. Or just going like, okay. Or not really. It was something else. It wasn't what it sounds like. It's Kiana who's saying it.
Yeah.
And it's like she's 12. Okay.
What is this little girl saying?
But yeah, it makes sense. She should be reaction. Also, I kind of feel like, Sage's and Raven's relationship is the start of a new one. Not the action, but the way Raven's written, there's more to their relationship.
Yes.
There, and there may be a reason for that. That we might hint at later, later on.
What?
But at the same time, I don't think it is. It feels like more like this should have been written as Sage and Raven are already friends, not forming that relationship.
Yes.
Because, to me, it seems like the way Sage asking her to do something, it seems more like, we didn't just meet. No, Raven should have been written as, maybe they're not friends, like full-on friends, hanging out. But she's the girl that he constantly talks to. He's at she knows who he is because they talk all the time when he's there. Not because he's flirting with her. No, he's just that kind of guy who likes to talk to people.
Yes.
And she works at the cafe where he always is.
Exactly.
In no way, shape, or form, like me in college, at my first college, I was never always at a cafe on my campus. Nuh-uh. Not at all. I did not take that from my real life.
Dude, when I first met you, you did all of your writing at Starbucks. You are a cafe guy.
I know what you're talking about.
What's one of your characters always hanging out at Starbucks now?
Actually,
That's in a later book.
I really actually don't do much stuff at Starbucks anymore.
I know.
Um,
Now you don't.
yeah, yeah, I did a lot of stuff at Starbucks.
Yeah, you
But-
did.
Okay, but continuing on, overall, of the big picture of the chapter, continue your thoughts.
It makes sense. It also doesn't make sense because, the second. All I'm saying is, if you're looking at the big picture, this absolutely makes sense with the chapters coming before it.
Okay.
Toller has seen the mark on Kiana's hand. He called somebody. We get the kidnapping of Kiana. Totally makes sense. When you look at the details of what of it, Brad had almost no plan, and I don't know how Natalie and Raven didn't hear people going into that room, because I don't care how quiet you think you are, when you step into a room through a window, there is always at least one thump, because you stepped down too hard, or when you stepped through, you were a little off balance. The fact that how many people, four people snuck into that room. Yes, 4 people snuck into the room without anyone hearing anything.
One thing that you can make an argument for at least that one thunk,
Yeah.
Kiana dropped something while she was working.
Yes.
So, but I can understand that. But yeah, I get it. Like, there's details missing here. And also, I hate to bring up Skylar Grant,
Oh, yeah?
but I'm going to go with, because I know the next chapter, I really think the chapter would be better off ending when Cyrus shows up.
Yes.
Because what comes after this, the chasing will continue into. Yes, it's where we break is a good breaking point.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you get to episode 10 and we read chapter 10, I think you're going to agree. Like, no, that'd be a great break. That's a great, because we're in the middle of the kidnapping, or when you've just shot Raven and you're leaving.
Yep.
Okay, you could ending on the shot. Okay, you could pick up with them outside the apartment, and just like they picked up this. The whole hint of why they want Natalie. Yeah, these guys are douchebags.
Honestly, the way I read it was that they were also going to be selling her to somebody, because clearly they know how to. Toller keeps paying them for stuff.
Yes. No, the intent behind their reward was not for them to sell them. She was their reward.
Yeah.
They were going to. I can't use the word here because YouTube would censor me.
No, that is wrong.
But yes, if you're picking up what I'm saying, bad things for Natalie.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah, that's
against her will. Yes.
Sorry.
This was
disgusting.
This was my way of trying to, in a Christian,
really make the bad guys super bad.
Yes, and especially in a Christian novel, that I wanted to go mainstream somehow.
Yeah, no, that would have been terrible.
Yes,
terrible.
So.
Oh yeah, and we killed Raven.
Yes, she's dead.
Well,
Maybe?
also, even if she's not dead, Sage, because it's his apartment.
Yep.
His life is effed now. He's gonna come back from his trip and be like, I went on a camping trip for a couple of days, guys. What happened? My apartment is now a crime scene. The girl that I asked to check in with my sisters is dead. She died in the apartment from somebody shooting her. And my sisters have been kidnapped. The cops are like, but we want to talk to you. What were you doing on this camping trip and leaving your 2 underage sisters home alone, not even in their own home. He's like, well, I asked Raven to go check on them.
And
She got killed.
and it was Natalie's 15. She can technically stay home alone.
I totally understand that, but still. It's someone got killed.
Remember, this is 2004, 2005. That's acceptable.
My other thing is, how many weapons does Brad have on him?
Really? That's your question? I'm surprised you didn't ask about. Really? Raven had to ask about a Wi-Fi connection down here?
Yes, that's
Yes,
my
people,
other one.
if you're a Zoomer, yes, there was a time where you had to ask that question. Do you have Wi-Fi? Because
Otherwise, you had to go to wherever the modem was and plug into it.
yes. So
Yeah.
but
And
yeah.
you could only have like 2 or 3 things ever plugged into it.
Yeah, at that time for the hard line.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know how many weapons it is, but though
Well, because he's got
he has at least-
first has a knife, then somehow the knife
he at least has 2 knives.
falls out.
More likely
is
has
put
3.
away, and a pistol is drawn and shoots Raven before she even realizes that he has it in his hand.
Yep. Well, it makes sense from Raven's point of view. She's trying to get free.
But they have a small back and forth. She recognizes who.
Oh, no.
Brad.
No. I mean,
holy crap, Brad!
When
That's
she's
you.
struggling to when she's fighting off, is it Kyle?
Yeah, but he's like, hold on.
But it makes sense to her not paying attention to what Brad is doing.
Yeah.
During that, but yes,
He's still like. He draws the gun and pow. Guy's like, hold up, bro. I was near. Friendly fire, bro.
yeah. And then, but yeah, it's, it's more likely she had 3. But I can justify having that many weapons. Not in the book, but I can justify. I can justify from Brad's point of view. Not what I was thinking when I wrote this, but I can justify it now. Okay, he is told he has a chance that he might get revenge on the person who put him.
Sage, yeah.
So Sage, who in seconds, almost probably milliseconds, hurt him where he needed a breathing machine.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, okay, I don't know why, but I need to come prepared. 3 knives and a pistol, more than enough.
Gonna be really prepared. Why do you need 3? Just grab 1 knife. You've got a gun, too.
Just in case I'm in court, he knocks the gun out. I go for the gun first. He knocks it away. I have multiple options.
Now I have more knives, but only 3 of them.
Yes. Not counting the one in my booth I forgot about.
Oh, God. It's just... It is a little ridiculous. I do like the fact that he somehow was able to, between when Dr. Toller was there and when Brad got there, this entire thing of, Brad, get 5 of your friends together and go kidnap this 12-year-old girl. Okay. Dr. Toller, the only time that you're able to get anyone to do something like that is if they've already done it for you in the past, which now goes, how many people has Dr. Toller kidnapped, or how many people has Brad kidnapped for Dr. Toller?
Or, not necessarily kidnapped, but done stuff enough people, done
He's like,
shady stuff
I'll
for...
kidnap somebody for you, Professor. What? Yes. Like,
Yeah. It's very clear that I was going one direction with this, and then in the moment decided to add context.
Yep.
I think the original idea, I think I eventually came up with the idea. It was this idea of, okay, these guys either stumbled onto, or were Brad at least was approached to do something not super shady. Learned about the cult, the coven, not the cult.
the coven.
The cult is Dr. Piper's thing, who's now dead. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I didn't do. What are you
He's
talking about?
just as dead as Raven is right now.
Yes, exactly. and learned about it. And him and his friends decide we want in on that. And Dr. Toller's like,
All right.
sure, you can be in it, but you gotta earn your keep.
But at the same time, it seems that he was only approached in the hospital. If you do this for me, you'll be healed. But I need you to be healed before you go do this thing for me. So you're going to agree to go do this thing for me? Cool. Healed. Dr. Toller has the ability to heal somebody?
We actually don't know who healed him.
Right.
I can tell you that my original intent was not Dr. Toller.
Do you know who I believe it is?
Who?
Manono!
Yeah, that's who I was originally going with. But I actually think a better idea is, for this would be a great way to seed future events. But I can't say that because it's a spoiler. For
No
future chapters.
spoilers.
So, but I can say this when that happens, then I can. But I have already kind of said who it without
Shut up.
So,
You're not allowed to give away information that I don't even know yet.
yeah, you do. You know this.
Nope.
I've told you already.
I don't know. Not at all.
But yeah, what did you think of the idea of Cyrus not intervening in the apartment, but waiting for them on the top of this steep
He
hill?
literally allowed Raven to die in the apartment,
That we know of.
according to the information we currently have.
Yes, I do like this idea though. Of Cyrus. Once they get out of the apartment, he appears in, heals Raven, and then appears on the top.
And then he's
of the
like, I have to be as dramatic as I can. I'll keep my back to them
Yes.
and speak. It would have been better if it was either Natalie or Brad. No.
I mean, Kiana, because
No,
Natalie's
it's
not out.
Keith. Keith, who keeps recognizing that Cyrus is actually quoting movie lines.
Yeah.
And then when Natalie wakes up, she's like, wait a second. Is that from Terminator 2?
Well, remember,
And he has to actually stop. Cyrus has to go, wait, you know that movie?
yeah, it's like you're
Wait,
you're
you know
a
that
millennial. You know that movie?
You're 15.
You're 15, and you
That came out
in 2003, 2004, 2005. So it's more likely, but still would have been a shock for a 15-year-old
That movie had
girl.
only been 11. It was out for 11 years by that point. So yes, it would be weird for a 15-year-old to be seeing it.
It wouldn't be weird. It would
Well,
be weird.
she would probably know the line.
No. It'd be weird for the type of girl Natalie is
Yes.
to have watched that movie.
But she probably knows the line. Come with me if you want to live.
No, it's not that line. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
She would know.
Yeah.
But if you want, no,
And hasta la vista.
because meme culture hadn't come into existence
That's
yet.
true. That's true. It was starting.
Meme culture didn't really start until the 2010s. Well, let me phrase that. Took off.
Yes. Oh no, meme culture had been around since like the early 2000s.
Yes, but no one knew it. Like, it wasn't... People didn't...
People weren't quoting it on the
like,
streets.
people were quoting on the streets, and it was just... It was an AIM thing. It was a instant messenger type thing and chat room thing. And maybe message boards, but not as much as message boards. That was more of a... when you could actually share images in chat rooms. Because some chat rooms, Yahoo, you couldn't do that. But AOL, I think you could.
I don't remember.
I don't know. It's been a while. We're trying to remember over 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. But yeah, meme culture really took off in the 2010s. Like, really took off. And ironically, died down in the mids. In a sense, it was still there.
It's back, baby.
It was still there. It was still happening, but it came back. Like, it
Skibbity toilet, bro.
Yeah, certain things brought it back.
I you know,
I hate
you
to
out here with your Ohio Riz and everything.
Oh, just so I want you to know this. Michael Bay's production company has the movie rights for Skibbity Toilet.
What the hell is even that supposed to do? How do you what?
Don't ask me.
It doesn't even make sense.
I know. Don't ask me. But apparently, he has the movie rights to do it.
How do you do a movie about a meme?
It's not a meme. It's an actual YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, anyway, moving on.
But yeah, I do like the idea of now having this chapter ending with Cyrus turning around.
I said, let her go. Let them go. Let my people go.
Wait,
did you just quote
Moses?
Moses quoted me.
It's like he turns to the camera. Fourth wall break. Just so you know, reader, it'd be like, to dear reader, just so you know, Moses quoted me. Then back into
Back into the scene.
Yep.
Star. 5 stars.
5 stars. And if you guys think, and he goes like, hold on, 1 second, one more back to the reader. Just so you guys know, you guys think you created meme culture? The angels created meme culture.
We did it first.
We did it first. I had Gabriel and Raphael quoting that line
for years,
decades.
It was awesome.
They try to take it from me, but I'm like, no, Gabriel, you cannot take credit. I said that.
I said it first. And then, humans gave it to Moses.
Moses was an idiot. He thought it came from the bush. The bush was just on fire. I was talking off to the left of that. He thought it was the bush. Dude was
really into that burning bush, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I mean, he had been eating some mushrooms right before I got there. So that might be the reason why.
I had to heal him a little bit. One of them was poisonous. Another one was oddly venomous. It was weird.
That actually didn't do anything, though.
It couldn't bite you.
Yeah. But yeah, that I do like. You know how it would be funny if someone took the Old Testament and really just said all these encounters were like the burning bush. No, it wasn't. No, angel. It's not thinking that God doesn't exist or anything. No, the angel was really right in front of him, visible. But they were thinking the bush right next to him.
But they were on so many drugs.
Yes. The prophets seeing all these things from like Ezekiel and all that.
Oh, yeah, they were out there, bro.
No, that normal person, the angel was right there. You weren't seeing any of that. He was man, he found the base form of LSD.
Yes.
Why do I have to do this? And it's like the angel's like, why am I doing this now? He's clearly high.
It's the only way he can even interact with you.
He's like,
he has to be this high.
And the voice comes over. It's like, if you would have gone when I told you, you would have appeared before he took it.
I told you 10 minutes ago.
Yes. Basically, do the lamb story.
Yep.
But with Old Testament and stuff like that. That would be hilarious.
They always show up just a bit late.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that would have been a great stopping point right there now, because you get the dramatic. As we've met Cyrus, he has to be dramatic, or
dramatic reveal. I'm surprised his trench coat didn't flap in the wind. Which was blowing into the face of Brad, who was facing him, but the trench coat was going behind Cyrus. Why? Because he was using his angelic powers to actually move it, the same way that Darth Vader did with his cape in Rogue One. There would be no wind. It's the vacuum of space.
It's the AC. It's the ventilation system.
He's in the vacuum of space.
But no, I think it would have been a great little line that there. It's like turn it in Cyrus. Cut.
Yes. That would have been cool.
And then what we get to go to the little chase scene down the thing.
Yep.
I'm surprised you didn't point out the fact that
somehow Brad can run really fast.
Well, not just that, but Cyrus, when he was able to knock, is it Keith who's carrying
yes,
Natalie? So Natalie goes up and apparently backwards as Cyrus is going down.
Yep, he's like boom, hits it so hard that Keith throws her up and backwards
and catches her,
sets Kiana down for a second, catches her, grabs Kiana again, and continues on at his angelic speed.
I like the idea. The thing of it is like when he caught her, it's like, no, he knocked him down. She may have gone up.
It was the plan all along.
It went up, like he paused to catch her because he didn't go like super high in the air. Though the writing makes it sound like she flew up in the air,
15 feet in the air, bro.
and then came flying down about 20 feet further, which is where Cyrus is, to perfectly catch her without the damage of his hands
Exactly.
hurting her.
Because he's an angel, bro.
Or she did get hurt, and while he's carrying her, he healed her.
That too. Immediately healing while catching.
But is he an angel? We don't know.
Yeah, I didn't say that he was an angel. I said that he had angel powers.
You said angelic.
Yeah. The powers are angelic.
Sure.
I didn't say that he's an angel.
Yeah, you did.
He doesn't have wings.
You implied it. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have wings. So you're right. Maybe angel. Angelic powers. He's a prophet of the Lord.
Dude's got profit.
But, yeah.
And he's on the streets. Dear, we just found the third member of the Street Prophets.
Yeah, Cyrus is white, though.
It doesn't matter. Dude's got cred.
He's got cred.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, what did you think of the whole thing of Brad climbing up using the?
You mean the T2 moment?
Yeah.
Where he's like, chunk. He
Without actually having his arms.
Clearly Brad has powers. The fact that he was able to punch through the back car window, not cut himself up, start to climb through the hole that he punched into that, fought somebody off, and then gets launched all the way up through the car into the windshield, and then somehow not coming to a complete fall, but staying at that level and sliding back out the back window when Cyrus takes off again.
My idea was his head was further enough into the windshield to keep him from falling. And when he hits that gas, momentum this boots him out the back.
Yeah, but there would be a moment where gravity would start to pull him back down, which means that he would end up back in the back seat between both of the girls.
The idea is it happens so fast, like the two
he
things
stayed vertical.
It happened so fast, like it's a break and then pushed, like
angelic powers
and everything,
system fuckery.
So, but yes, it's.
I just love this fact that Sage is like, his neck's broken. I mean, he might be dead. I don't know.
I don't
think so.
If I remember correctly, in an earlier version of the scene, he goes right through the whole front windshield and lands, and then Cyrus takes him, and I think
runs him over.
And I decided, because yes, I'll admit the scene from T2 is an inspiration for that scene. I really like that part of the scene.
It's very obvious.
I really like that scene, and it really fit what I wanted to do to establish for Brad at that moment. But I do think it would be better if he went fully through, and then he'd have Cyrus run him over.
Yep.
And it would fit better in for what is to come.
You could even have Cyrus give the one-liner of "Hasta la vista, baby," and run him over. That's when Natalie goes, "No, you really are quoting movies now," and he's like, "Yeah."
Oh, if I was to write this now, for the first time, Cyrus would be the guy who's
just quoting movies.
He's
all
quoting
over the place.
movies. He's just quoting it. Kind of like in Dungeon Crawl Carl, where it's like all the aliens, like the guilds, not the guilds. What's the Malachi's room called before he becomes the?
It's a guild.
It is a guild.
Yeah.
How all the guild masters can once in a while go out on the planet and they can get stuff.
Yes.
Definitely, that's the thing that angels like to do. Is like they go and see these movies. I'm bored. I don't have an assignment. Oh, let me go watch that.
They watch movies. They watch TV. Gee, the 20th century has been an absolute blast for them.
Yes. They're fascinated with sex scenes or even porn. Not because they want to have sex. It's just like, they're like, I don't get this.
This is enjoyable.
How is she not getting, like, they can't understand pleasure. They're doing it for pleasure. They're like, she should be pregnant. Why is she pregnant in the next one? like them, like a bunch of angels gathering
They're
around.
like, no, this is a sequel to this. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, it's not.
And they're trying to like, but she should be pregnant. They had sex. It's reproduction. Like
They just never
they
understand.
never understand that. Oh no, it feels good, so they can do it without it always. I think that'd be a really fun line. But Cyrus is the one who gets it.
Oh, yeah, Cyrus always understood it.
Oh no,
jeez.
it's like no. One of the first conversations with Sage is pointing out Sage has porn, and Sage has to explain why they don't get pregnant, and Cyrus is like, huh. Well, if the boys are gonna, I can't wait to meet up with the boys again. They finally are gonna get this.
I can finally explain
Like-
that there's not a plot to these. It's just
Yeah,
because we want to see people have sex. And
like
they're
they want to see.
and he's like, oh,
Wait,
I never really understood the plot.
we're in some planet. They actually get an actual full length porn movie, and you're
They're
like, wait, why are they doing it? Like they're doing it again, like, but
None of this makes sense.
This doesn't make sense. Like this thing had a lot of sex, but no real plot. The plot was
look-
very thin. I don't get it.
Man.
Just really do that. That would be. But yeah, Cyrus absolutely would be like the pop culture reference guy, and Natalie, Sage. Everyone's constantly pulling.
Like, always going, wait, you got that from... wait, you got that from...
And then
or even better is the occasional... actually, the line is...
yeah.
It's like, when he's like, Luke, I am your father. It's like, actually, it's no, Luke.
I
am your father.
What was there? What's the movie?
I'm your daddy.
What's the that line that everyone attributes to something, to a movie, a famous movie that actually was never said?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It's in Dunder Carl. And I remember, but I just cannot remember. But everyone attributes to a specific movie.
Get to the chopper.
And it's never actually in the movie, or never said actually in the movie.
Let us know down in the comments.
If you know what movie I'm talking about, because I cannot think of it off the top
Or
of
if
my
you
head.
have multiple versions of it.
Yes. But yeah, but overall thoughts?
Not bad.
Overall thoughts on it being continuing the plot as we from future chapters?
Yes.
You kind of mentioned that already with the big picture of everything. When I was just referring to big picture for the chapter,
Or whatever.
But still,
I
mean,
big
it worked.
picture it.
This is one of those chapters where if we didn't have the stuff that before, it would definitely
You'd just
not
be
make
like,
sense. Wait, why is
what?
Brett all of a sudden coming in?
Yeah.
How did he know where Sage lived?
Dr. Toller told him.
Okay, yeah, we established that already, but like with the phone call and everything. But okay,
Yeah.
nothing else you want to add?
Nope, that's everything, bro.
All right, this was a good place to wrap up this episode. So let us know down in the comment section what you thought of this chapter, and do you think the previous episodes and chapters have done a good job of building towards this and setting this up, or let us know your thoughts that if it's not. Do you agree that Cyrus should be the pop culture reference guy?
It'd be a good job for him.
And because I think he would fit how he's been betrayed, he absolutely would be that. But like, let us know your thoughts down there. If you enjoy this, because you got this part far in the episode, we'd love it if you'd go and hit that smash that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got running content on this channel, and you can go check that out because it'll be on screen now. But if you also want some good gameplay, or some terrible gameplay,
some mid gameplay.
yeah, if you want some mid or terrible, not good, not decent,
You can check out my channel.
Yeah, go check out Adam's channel.
ZOP Gaming.
only do that if there's nothing no for the future episodes of Storytime Podcast yet for you to listen to, or there's nothing on screen that you want to listen to. Then go check out Adam's channel, or if not, listen to mine. Anyway, whatever you choose, we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.